Right, hello, Stockman Pete. Ha ha. Right, here we go. Now look, I was a little bit in front of myself. It's number five. Right, I was a little bit in front of myself. Sergeant Rourke coming to the boarding house door. Just before all that sort of happened, we did have to go for a medical. So we're trying to keep it in a little bit of order here. And chronological order. Now I don't know whether that means in a line or if we're going mining, but there we are. Right. So off we went to the medical, and this was run by American officers. Basically, they'd seen all the tricks and all the dodges, and a chap got in front of us, 21 stone, and they took his coat off and it went back to 11, so he didn't get too far down the line. And there was this chap next to us called Peter, and we're going back to the 60s here, remember, and I'm telling you, he had a pair of glasses on. They were about 1.5 inches thick, Now, I'll run into this chap a bit later on in life, actually, in one of the stores, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Anyway, so we're there, and you go into this room, and there's a panel of 3 people, and everyone's trying everything they can to get out of national service. It's a big drum that goes round. It drops the month out, and it drops a date out. And if you're on that month and date, then into national service you go. Right. Anyway, but your last hope is to fail the medical. So you walk across this room, you come back, and they look you up and down, and all right. Well, a chap in front of us went across, and a big fit chap, nothing wrong. They said failed, out, and he couldn't understand why. Not with anyone else. And they looked, and he had some moles on his back. People have moles, but they were right where the straps would go for your webbing and all this and that. And they knew they'd rub like buggery, infect straight away. And he was out. So it was as easy as that, out. But in other circumstances, it was dead hard. So now I'm standing in this room with his American officer, God knows what, eye tests. So I've done mine, left and right and step. And this Peter was in there, and he said, now take the glasses off and read the chart. And this is absolutely true as I'm stood here. He took his glasses off and he hesitated, and the American officer got a bit umpty about it all this and that. Probably didn't like having to go to Australia to do this. Had a right go at him. He said, now read the chart. He said, read the chart, he said. He said, I can't focus on the wall. He said, I couldn't see the wall. And I thought, oh my God, they're going to give him they're going to give him a rifle. And the American officer took it the wrong way, and he said, well, I've done that sort of nonsense here. And bang, pass. And in for national service he went. And I'll tell you, glasses were 1.5 inches thick. Whether he had cataracts or hopefully they've done something for him by now, and he's a nice enough chap. But we come to him later on, actually. Funnily enough, we crossed paths again. So that was the medical. People throwing fits on the floor, goodness knows what. But it didn't do them no good. Basically, all you went in. So now we're at the door with the lovely Sergeant Rourke. And he said, right, okay, bank, let's give the name and everything. Yeah. And he said, right, there's that truck. You've got 10 minutes to get in it. So this is a Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock. And this all sounds very tough, but the Australian way was a very, very fair way. So I'm now sat in the back of this truck with a board over me thing with my army number on it, which you never forget. And down the road I went. Well, someone went in to see Mrs. Adams, and said to her, right, he's paying $12.75 a week. The Australian government will give you $25 a week, and that's his bed, and no one's allowed to sleep on it. And I'm sure she abided by that. Absolutely sure she didn't. And so no one was allowed to sleep on that bed. And my job, the government looked after that. I was laying concrete at the time at Ashford Council, big concrete driveways and God knows what, hard work, good money, bang. And they got a tax reduction actually because they had a serving member in the armed forces. And so it worked out very, very fair. Don't forget, them days, the Australian way was yes or no. There was no in between. So down the road we went with the lovely Sergeant York, about 20 of us lads in the back of this lorry, and off to an army training camp called Kapuka. Now, you won't find that on any maps. It's not written on any maps whatsoever. It's out in the middle of nowhere. And then we went. Now, you had the 12 tests of Hercules here, And what it was, you could go along and you get to say test number 7, and if you failed it, you got back squatted. Now this training camp was ultra tough. Live ammunition, people did die, live ammunition, and you had to get through the 12 tests, then you got sent out to your regiments or wherever you were going, which was great because you actually got paid and you got freedom, and you could go out of an evening and this. There you were restricted in, and it was just hard work all the way, 7 days a week, and a bit of sweat here. Look, I think I was out in the bush. Anyway, and it is odd, isn't it? And bang, so that's what you had to do. Now, I'll go through a few of these tests with you, not too many. The first one was rope climbing. That doesn't sound too bad, does it? But it's about 100 foot up, and you've got to go up the rope in a certain way, 2 corporals at the bottom, and the last thing you want to do is fail any tests, because some people spent about 2 years national service in training, and that's for sure. Boom. Up the top, inch off the top, come down, inch off the bottom, go back up the top, come back down. Well, the second time I'm coming down, I've got the blood coming from my hands. It was so hard to hold this rope. What it was up and down from helicopter, of course, you know, moving helicopter, and you've got to climb up and climb down. Don't forget, you're young and fit here, you know. And I got to the bottom, and they said, okay, borderline case, pass. And that was that one test, and off we went, and trained up for 3 or 4 more days to tackle our next test. Right, I'm going to leave it at there, and don't forget, if you want to subscribe, be nice. And I'll see you next time, next Friday. All the best. We do the tests, don't worry. All the best. Stockman Pete. Bye-bye.